Here, you're ready for your dose of reality. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Quack podcast. I'm Dr. Quack, and I'm about to introduce my co-host here on his remote location, the important one, Mr. Mayhem.
That's right. I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem. You know, I like to sometimes sit in my recliner, you know, not them uncomfortable office chairs that your incompetent assistant got us. So we're going to be reviewing Clash at the Castle today. But before we can do that, we've got to bring some special guests on, special analysts that are doing this with us. So welcome to the show first, my boss, your boss, everyone's boss. You better have bought his merch, Bossolini.
Howdy. How you doing?
All righty. And the other one coming on in here today, he's a year older, but not a year grayer. Welcome to the show, John.
Fresh from the barbershop.
I am not fresh from the barbershop, and instead of I don't look any grayer, it should be I'm not another year wiser, honestly.
Oh, good. All right, so you guys ready to go over this Clash at the Castle thing?
I love this show. This is a great show.
Bring it.
Before we get started, can I say that pretty much having an entire week of wrestling is really exhausting, especially after watching All Out last night. I was so exhausted that I think I complained more about All Out than
I can't believe you watched that.
So.
All righty, so let's go over how we came into this show. Randy Hogan was at 16-11. Boss in the lead at 21-8. I'm at 18-10. Dr. Quack at 16-12. John is at 18-10, and the Purge, Justin Smith, at 12-14.
Get that man a participation medal.
Well, we're working on it. All right, and we had a pre-show match, something they don't do a whole lot. But we got a pre-show match here. Madcap Moss and the Street Profits against Austin Theory and the Alpha Academy. Boss, your thoughts on this match?
I missed it.
All right. How about you, John?
I'll be honest, it was one of those that you could possibly tell that they were going to do something. You just didn't know what match they were going to put there because obviously being into the UK, they want to start this thing off with a good feeling. And it was a good match. I'd say it's a 2.5. It ticks all the boxes. You could tell Madcap Moss is really over at this point, and I finally want to actually see them do something for a change with him rather than just continue to put like 6-man tag matches. Because honestly, what has he on? Like, I don't know how he's still so over with. Pretty much, I haven't really seen him on screen much. I've seen more of Baron Corbin than Madcap Moss. So, it was like I said, it checked all the boxes. It was a 2.5-star match.
All right, Quack.
Yeah, I was shocked they had an opener. I thought it was a decent opener. I went about 2.5 on it. It was a good setting of the table, even though it's the pre-show match going into the main show. But it worked. I'll go 2.5.
Yeah, I only went 2.25. Chad Gable and Angelo Dawkins did the exact same open they did a couple of weeks before that on SmackDown. So, you know, get a new gimmick, have more than one open in your pocket. For those of you indie guys, you shouldn't have an open in your pocket anyway. But if you're going to have one, have more than one. The match was contrived and full of needless high spots. But again, that they're coming to the first time to the UK since 1992 at a pay-per-view. They wanted the crowd hot, so you're right. John said it best. It checked all the boxes, but I only went 2 1/4.
Yeah.
All right, and then they opened the show with the women's 6-man, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka taking on Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. And John, you get to start with this one.
It was a good opener. To me, I'll give it a 3-star. I know, like, from what I've been hearing, they're trying to keep Io Sky and Asuka away from each other. To hopefully set up something for the future. The only thing I have to critique on is, and I'm also going to get to this in a later match as well, is the running of the ropes of Io and Dakota. You could tell who really is the star of the group and who is technically still developmental. And I don't like it scares me. It might become like a Judgment Day situation where you're going to start seeing, yes, Bayley's going to pretty much probably end up going for the championship from Bianca. And I actually think this is the first time that Bianca's been pinned in since last year or something like that, since like SummerSlam. So you could see where they're going with it. I'm just worried that they may actually move away from Damage Control because you could tell they're not as great. It's the running of the ropes, and I know one of your favorites, Mayhem, Liv Morgan's the same way, so I could see the same thing from them.
All righty, Quack.
Hey, I just want you to announce who picked that match, right, and who got their bonus point.
Yes. Okay, so we'll do that first. Everyone chose Bayley, Io, and Dakota except the Purge. You also said that Bayley would get the pin, so you did get the bonus point.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, don't feel so celebratory about that. Everybody got a bonus point but me.
Yeah, I beat Mayhem. That's all that matters. No, I like that. I thought the match was good. I mean, it was sloppy on some respects. They felt like they were out of sync, but it's a 6-man tag. So why not have a pre-show 6-man tag with a main show 6-man tag back to back? I don't know. Where's my boy at? Where's Reasons? I need him.
Exactly.
2.5 stars. That's what I'm going.
Yeah, I went 2 1/4 on this one. Actually, half the match was sloppy. Alexa, Dakota Kai was really bad, and Bianca Belair were really sloppy and really out of sorts and out of time. Asuka, Io, and Bayley were really good. They were the reason this match worked as well as it did. But it was a very out of sorts. Like Dakota Kai, where they were setting up for the big triple splash, the backflip splash, you know, you could see Bayley sit up and yelling at Dakota Kai to get back into place. So it was really bad. There was a lot of mistiming that Bayley and Asuka did a really good job of keeping control of in there. A lot of rushing in there. This match felt kind of okay. It was more to set up Bayley and Bianca than anything else. I only went 2 1/4. It was okay, but you're right. Where's Reasons? Because 2 back-to-back 6-man matches, or what are we, in a Lucha Libre show?
Well, if you think of it before Ed goes, All Out had, I think, 3 different 6-man tag matches on the card. 3. Actually, 4. I think it was 4 of them.
All right.
Yeah.
Boss, your thoughts on this?
Alrighty, so let's be real. I went against my baby. I went against Bianca. And of course I had to go with the booty. I mean Bayley. But of course you're gonna have a 6-man match after a 6-man match. You gotta have the husband go first, then the wife comes second. I did like seeing the springboard moonsault that Bianca liked to do, and she almost got a 3 count by pinning all 3 members of Damage Control. I don't know how you can get a 2 count on 3 people, but Overall, I definitely wasn't impressed with a lot of the match because, well, that was at least. So I gave it a two, and I actually gave it just a straight out two.
All righty. All right. So next match we had Sheamus taking on Gunther for the IC title. Quack, you get start this one.
This match gets my quack attack because this match was the best match on the card, exceeding expectations. Yeah, the main event was great. I'm going to get into that later. But this match here was not where the expectations were. It was well beyond that. Gunther came out there and looked strong. Sheamus looked very strong as well. I love the back and forth. The crowd was into it. I could have dealt with probably one less tough man spot. I know they had to have 16 in that match, but one more is not a big problem. Outside that, I'm going to give this match 4 stars.
All righty. Well, I only went 3.5, but you're right. I agree. This was a great match, great psychology. You're right. There was a few too many tough man spots, but also this took place in Wales. A lot of the Irish pubs type feel, even though it's on a different island. That rugby is a big sport in Wales, so a lot of the tough man kind of spots, they were really playing to that. It reminded me some of the Mia Necro tough spots that we did. I really enjoyed it. This match was solid. Sheamus really put something good. It looks like they brought out another member. They gave him a different name, but looks like they're reforming Imperium. I don't see this match, this feud ending. I see Sheamus eventually getting an IC run, but it made sense for Gunther to win in this environment. It was strong, 3.5 stars. Boss.
All righty. So, yes, with Giovanni Gavucci showing up, even in the odds of Imperium, it made it a very little, but I love the spot, just like they had on SmackDown, where everybody else was fighting and they just stared at each other. It was beautiful. The fact that they literally showed that neither one of them was weak, and Sheamus is deserving to become that IC champ one day. Is indeed workhorse in the WWE. I do give Sheamus that, just like Gunther did in the post press conference, said, if y'all don't believe that Sheamus is one of the hardest workers in the WWE, you must be out of your mind. So with that being said, I give it a 3.5 because it was a great match.
All right, John.
Old school wrestling. I do agree, too many spots, and I'm probably going to continue to talk about how the show last night happened as well, because on their pre-show they had a tough man match as well. And after watching the one from Saturday from WWE, you kind of respect WWE's a little bit more because they didn't go the sports entertainment route to it where the other company did. So it's kind of funny to see how things are, like the landscape of that's changing. I can go on for days, but I gave it 3.5.
Going gaps there, buddy. Gaps.
Yeah, it's you. Before I say that, what I think, AEW needs to to quit worrying about WWE before they start to self implode, which the implosion's already happening. But this match was a 4-star match. This was not even sports entertainment. This was, hey, I'm gonna pretty much, you watch 2 guys beat the living shit out of each other, and you're wondering what the heck was gonna happen next. Did they go a little too many spots? Yeah, but honestly, to get away from sports entertainment for a bit and just hearing the crowd reaction, and it was constant throughout the entire night. I think there was only one match through the entire night that pretty much the crowd was dead, and I think it was that next match, the next match we're going to talk about. But it's listening to the crowd reaction and seeing what they were doing, and they fed to the crowd. That's why I'm giving it the 4 stars. I didn't care if they did too much. They got away from sports entertainment, and they gave us a little feeling. And I can't wait to hear what Jim Cornette says about this, because I think he'll be at least happy with it. He may say the spots, there was too many of them, but when you see people's chests look like they just got beat up by a lawnmower or a weed whacker, it's just amazing to know what they have to go through. And I do agree, Sheamus will get an ICU title run in the near future.
All righty. So, yeah, I get to start the next match here. Shayna Baszler against Liv Morgan for SmackDown, I think, is which title she has. She's so irrelevant, I really don't care. This match, Liv continued to look weak, continued to look like a crybaby. Her moves continue to not look strong or impressive. The ending was really bad. It was not a very solid ending. It was basically, oh crap, we went too long, let's take it home. Yeah. Shayna Baszler, I don't know what the problem is, why they can't just put the title on her and give her relevancy. Me and John, we were talking during this, and we kind of both agree. Next show, Extreme Rules, is probably going to be Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey, and oh, by the way, we'll have Liv Morgan in there in a triple threat of some way. And that's where they're actually going to get the title off Liv, so they can at least give Liv an out, because she won't be involved in the finish. But that's the next show. This show here, 1.5. I'm sorry, all the people that say that chanted here, you deserve it. They obviously don't know what wrestling is. They just think she's pretty. Boss.
All right, so Shayna and John's girlfriend. A match that I could care less about. Shayna should have won the title. Should have showed that she was the most dominant person in the ring, but for some odd reason they have a healthy obsession for Liv Morgan, and they gave her a W. And that match, I would have given my 2 finger salute. But yeah, I gave it a 1 3/4.
All right, John.
It's no secret I'm a huge fan of Liv Morgan, and you did say it. We were talking about the match a little bit. The sloppy ending where the ref started counting before she even actually had Shayna covered. I think I was the only one that picked against Liv in this match, which was actually really surprising. Apparently, I can't even give a rating to this. It was that bad. Again, as I said in the 6-woman tag, the running of the ropes to Liv looking weak. This was something that they didn't need to have happen. And as I talked about, if they continue to make her look weak, it's going to ruin her even more. And at this point, why still have the title on her if you're going to make her continuing to look weak? How many WWE champions have there been that actually looked weak as a WWE champion?
A few.
But there were matches where they at least controlled the match at some point. She's not even controlling the match. It's like she's just wiggling her way out of it. I think the closest I could say, except Daniel Bryan, was actually one where he can control the match, but he still found a way to sneak his way out of the match with the victory. And that's how I feel like that's what they want to do with this, but it's not looking like that. It's looking where she's not ready for it. So I do agree the triple threat's going to happen where they will take the title off her. She'll still be a fan favorite, but you can tell there was no crowd reaction, and there wasn't even a crowd reaction to winning. And if there was, I think I heard more boos than I heard cheers. I don't know if it's because of the last match of Sheamus versus Gunther, but there was no way. There was no way. The only match I think could have probably followed up that one would have been Edge and Rey Mysterio, and that I felt the crowd reaction would have been dead. Because I think even during after the intros for that, and we'll talk about that next, but I can't. It doesn't even deserve a rating. It doesn't even deserve motion to give a 2-finger salute.
All right. Well, Dr. Quack.
You know, after 5 minutes of hearing Loveboy down here talk about, his fascination for his girl and how bad she sucked on that show, she don't get a 2-finger salute. She gets an entire fist because she was fucking awful. I'm just going to say that. She was god awful. She doesn't belong as a champion. She is nothing but a marketing tool. If you want to put her on Playboy or some sort of spread out like that, do it. Outside that, keep her out of the damn ring. She belongs as a manager. She doesn't belong as a champion. She doesn't belong as a competitor. Hell, let her be the ticket lady at the building. Don't let her be in the damn ring. That's how I feel, and it gets a fist.
Hey, I agreed with you guys.
You silence because you know better.
All right. So, boss, you get Edge and Rey Mysterio against Damian Priest and Finn Balor, the Judgment Day.
All right, so what didn't we know that was going to happen? We knew that Edge and Rey was going to win the match. We knew the Judgment Day was going to get the last laugh. We knew Dominic was going to stare at Rhea Ripley. But we didn't know that Dominic was going to turn at the end of the match and lay out Edge and his daddy, well, his stepdaddy, because we all know who his real daddy is. Viva la raza. So the match, I guess it's normal. Free. The turn at the end, I gave it a 5 by itself. Because it's about time that Dominic figures out life on his own. No longer riding the name of Mysterio.
All right, John.
I'm torn on this match because the crowd reaction during the intros was awesome. It was there's only a few that had a crowd reaction like that through the entire night. And the one thing I said when it came to Judgment Day versus Rey and Edge was, I don't cool. Yes, at the end of this, the Judgment Day got the last laugh because Dominic turned on Edge and Rey. But does that play, I was thinking about it, does it play to the hands of the Judgment Day a little bit, or does it hurt them? This is now how many pay-per-views in a row that they have lost since they booted out Edge. I think they've only maybe had one pay-per-view win at that for that. Other than that, it's been loss after loss after loss, and it's just how can you take a tag team or a faction so serious if they continue to lose? But yeah, now the fact, yes, Dominic has turned on them, but it doesn't mean Dominic's going to the Judgment Day. Dominic could be a heel, and it's Judgment Day trying to get Dominic now into the team. So it's gonna. I'm still so torn on it because throughout the match, it just got so silent. And yeah, you got to cheer after the win, but I think I also talked to Mayhem about it afterwards. Should have they had Dominic turn during the match rather than have it after the match? What actually gives them more heat? He got a lot of heat after the match, at low blowing Edge and then losing his shoes in the process, which I laughed so hard as soon as I saw that happen. But I don't know. I give it a 4. No, not even giving 4. 3.5 for everything total. But I was upset on this match.
All right, Dr. Quack.
Yeah, I don't know who all picked it. I know I picked out Rey, and I know I picked out Edge for this, right?
Everybody picked Edge and Rey except John, who picked the Judgment Day.
Went with the damn Judgment Day. You should know better. They want a babyface feeling. Of course they won there. But they had the big shocker. They had Dominic kick him in the balls and put him on the ground. And now the plane ride home was probably horrible for Rey and his son. I mean, I felt bad for him. I like the mask over there from Edge. The match itself was okay. But the climax at the end, the kicking the balls, yeah, that worked well. I'll give it 3.5 stars for the overall performance.
All right. I seem to be the only one that didn't like the Dominic turn. I only went 2.5 on this. The match had decent storytelling, but the first half of it was really only okay. It was kind of slow a little bit, kind of plodding. I did predict, although it wasn't my bonus point, that Dominic would hook an ankle. So there's the out for Judgment Day losing is they got cheated. But I think they jumped the shark by having Dominic that, we didn't have any kind of confrontation or argument in there in the ring. So it made no sense for them for Dominic to kick Edge in the balls. I would have liked to have seen it on Friday on SmackDown that they call Dominic out here and they try and figure out what's going on. And as he tries to leave, Edge turns him around and gets kicked in the balls. And then Rey Mysterio takes the punch or the clothesline. And now we have an explanation and an understanding of what's going on. I don't like we're going to learn later what was going through his mind. It doesn't work for me. And I think it kills the intensity of what they wanted. So I wasn't a fan of this turn. I thought they did it too fast. So I only went 2.5 on this one.
Well, when you've been teasing this since what, WrestleMania, they've been teasing,
and they could have teased it for one more week.
I enjoyed that they did it at that show. That is the one thing I will say. The fact that they did it at the show and got the reaction is what was perfect about it. Because that will give him the heat. Now, we all know Dominic's reaction, like his acting ability, isn't to par of a normal wrestler in the WWE. So now to see what they do they give him a mouthpiece to talk for him? We're gonna find out. But
we'll find out on Friday. So.
And
I'm going to
Mayhem because we're going to take a quick commercial.
Hold it. All right, looks like we're back. And before we go to John for the next match, there is a group who lost a lot and we're still dominant. They were called the NWO and they were called the Four Horsemen. So you get to start with Riddle and Rollins.
Bro!
Who all got that match correct?
Which one?
Riddle versus
Randy Hogan did. And Purge.
To me, this was the toss-up match. It was hard to decide who was actually going to win because you could see either way it could benefit. The only thing that I was scared of if they were going to go with Rollins was they were going to mess up and make Riddle look a little weak after the whole storytelling up to this point. I think this was probably one of the, other than the Roman versus Drew match, this was to me the best match that had the storytelling from the beginning. And I enjoyed that they kept it. So I actually think that this was a 3.5 star. I believe it was perfectly done. They didn't make Riddle look weak, which was the fear that I had. So I'm okay with Riddle winning, and I'm glad. I thought it was funny that the fact Seth Rollins came out looking like Elton John. So it is a 3.5 star match.
All righty. Quack.
What can I say? I was happy that I didn't get to watch a boatload of this match, but what I saw, it looked good. I'm going to say that much. I don't have really a major opinion on it. I have to go back and watch because I actually had a phone call there. So pass.
All right. So this was my match of the night at 4 stars. Now, the only problem I had with this is it looks like that was a definitive win with Rollins doing the curb stomp off the middle rope. That's kind of a definitive win. I'm almost worried they're going to end this feud very shortly without a blow off. I'd like to see a little bit more of it because the intensity was there, the story, the awesome storytelling, everything was there. Do you want for a blood feud, and then they have a super impact finisher that concerns me here, but we'll see what they're going to do with it from here. It may go into Extreme Rules, and that's the blow off. But I went 4 stars on this one. Boss. Can't hear you, boss. He passes.
All right.
Okay, he passed. All right, so we're going into the main event now. Dr. Quack.
Into the main event.
Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I love this match. I did. I love sitting down and watching this. I mean, yes, there was speculation Drew might actually win this, and we all knew he wasn't going to win this because it's overseas, and WWE doesn't like to change titles over there except once a decade, and he already did that this decade with AJ Styles. Overall, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. It was a great fight. The fans were into it. Again, too many tough spots because they had that going on. But outside that, tough man spot is hey, oh, back and forth for all you people at home. Yes, that was probably too many of those, but outside that, it was a great fight. It was nice to see NXT Uso come out there. I'm not sure his name. Still don't know his name. Just know him as the NXT Uso, Rikishi's nephew, or whoever it is.
Solo Sikoa.
That could pass a flight. What's it called?
Yeah, it wasn't that they didn't get medically cleared. There's other reasons.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. The only one that could pass to go overseas. But yeah, overall, I gave that match actually 4 1/4. I felt like this was actually probably, I would say, the best match I've seen this year. That was the best match probably put on, and I love the ending.
All righty. So I'm up next here. I went 3 3/4. The reason the bloodline was not there, now Sami Zayn, he's cleared to travel, but it wouldn't have made sense. The bloodline's criminal problems are the reason they didn't get up to go over there. Same reason they didn't get to go to Canada either. I like Tyson Fury's knockout. Austin Theory took that punch like a champ. John, you're right. He took that punch like a champ. This was a 4-star match. Honestly, I didn't like Solo Sikoa's appearance. And the reason I didn't is this match already had a lot going on as far as you had Karrion Kross getting involved and throwing the water bottle. You had Austin Theory coming out. You had Tyson Fury knocking out Austin Theory. You had a referee bump in there. And oh, by the way, let's throw in Solo Sikoa as well. I think it hurt the match a little bit because there was too much going on. Quack is right. This was a 4.5-star match. I bumped it down to 3 3/4 just because it really rubbed wrong the way they brought Solo Sikoa in there. Boss, are you still offline or you good?
I'm good.
All right.
So with this match, of course, I told y'all in advance, watch out for Uso number 3. I warned y'all that Uso number 3 was coming. Did he need to show up in this match where everything was going? No, but to make sure Roman had help from family to continue to prove the point that it's always going to be through the bloodline that he wins, they had Solo show up. So I give it a 4. And yes, I am happy that Solo is no longer.
What's his name? Solo?
Solo Sikoa.
What the hell type of name is that? Anoa'i Wrestling Federation. I swear to God. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, Uso's last name is not Uso.
Well, it might as well be one of the Uso kids, you know? That's what
He Uso number 3.
Yeah. Now I will say that at the end, Tyson Fury's got a decent voice. It reminded me of The Rock and Stone Cold doing their stuff at the end. I didn't mind that. What's your thoughts on that?
I actually enjoyed Tyson giving Drew the pep talk, letting him know that he's not done and he's still that championship material. They keep his focus, because sometimes these guys fall off into irrelevancy. Hi, Miss.
All righty.
Damn it.
So let's go over how we all did here.
Am I allowed to talk about the match?
No,
Sure. Oh, sorry, John. I apologize.
I loved. I give it a 5. The match was a 5-star just because Austin Theory got knocked out by Tyson Fury. I gave it a 5-star just because of that. It was perfect. I enjoyed the fact that Baby Oos decided to show up because, by the way, it's not just because of their criminal problems. It's also because they're not vaccinated. That was why they weren't in Canada, and now that's why they weren't in the UK is because they're not fully vaccinated. But I'm okay. Like, I was okay with it. It does still tell the story. If everything goes the way it is, you're gonna see at Extreme Rules. You're gonna see Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross going at it because of everything that happened during that match. During the match with them, because Roman's still on Brock Lesnar's schedule, so he's not going to be there. But you can start telling it's starting to set up where it's going to be Survivor Series. It will be the 3 at Survivor Series, and I did love the match. I think the crowd's reaction in that match was better than Sheamus. It made me more invested into watching the match than any match I saw this weekend. Except for when you have a show that has like 16 matches and thinks that they don't believe in storytelling through an entire quarter and only have a show a quarter for pay-per-views. But it was the best match to me overall. I'll give it in seriousness. I will give it a 4 4.25. To me, it was that good. It was just it continues to tell the story, and also it's funny that Austin Theory continues to try to cash in the Money in the Bank, and something always happens that it always changes. And I'm wondering if Gargano changes the fact and actually challenges him for the briefcase.
Well, we'll find out. We got some shows coming up. Let's go over how everybody did. So Randy Hogan picked Edge and Rey Mysterio. He picked Sheamus, Seth Rollins, Bayley, Shayna Baszler, Roman Reigns, and his bonus point of Karrion Kross means he got 5 and 2. Ed went Edge and Rey Mysterio. He went Gunther. He went Matt Riddle, Bayley, Liv Morgan, Roman Reigns, and his was no John Cena, cheap win. He went 6 and 1. I chose Edge, Gunther. I said a schmoz between Riddle and Seth Rollins. Bayley, Liv Morgan, Roman Reigns, and I was the only one that didn't get the bonus point, so I'm at 5 and 1. Quack, you had Edge, Gunther, Matt Riddle, Bayley, Liv Morgan, Roman Reigns, and you picked the Bayley pin, so you're at 6 and 1. John went Judgment Day, Gunther. He went with Matt Riddle, Bayley, Shayna Baszler, Roman Reigns, and no 24/7, so 4 and 3. And the Purge went Edge, Gunther, Seth Rollins.
I got you 4 and 3, bro. Wow.
Yeah. Edge, Gunther, Seth Rollins, Bianca Belair's team, Liv Morgan, Drew McIntyre, and they would use Drew's old theme song. So he got that one. So 5 and 2 for the Purge.
I honestly believe they need to go back and just get rid of McIntyre's new theme and just use Broken Dreams the way they did it from this. I love that theme. I thought it was perfect.
Well, we'll see how it all goes. So that's the end of this show. Next pay-per-view we're going to be reviewing is Extreme Rules.
See you then.